The Kameng River is one of the major rivers of Arunachal Pradesh, India. It originates from the extended northeastern Himalayan region called the Karadadi. The East Kameng district was created as one of the administrative units situated along the bank of this mighty river, whose name was also coined after it. The Kameng River has many tributaries, joining it in various intersections, giving life to many. Pachuk River is one of the major tributaries of Kameng River and is also the lone ice-fed tributary originating from Mount Kangto, the highest peak of Arunachal Pradesh. Pachuk River is also known as Vucho in the Miji and Puroik dialect. As it ascends down, making countless turns and twists, it forms what is known as the beautiful Pachuk Valley. Most of us are well aware of the other three valleys of the undivided East Kameng and Pakekesang districts, the Pake, Papu and Pasa Valley. Adding to the list of the beautiful valleys is another less explored yet mesmerizing Pachuk Valley. Not only is this place aesthetically pleasing to the human eyes and home to various human tribes, but due to its varying climatic conditions and the topographical differences created by gradual changes of elevation, this place proves to be an excellent habitat for countless flora and fauna. Lada is one of the many villages settled at the banks of this river, which the Mijis call it Nido. Many tribes, including the Nishis, the Mijis, the Akas, and the Puroiks, call it their home. They have been living in this valley since a very long time, far away from the madding crowd, in the midst of the fluffy clouds, surrounded by lush green mountains and the very serene ash-colored Pachuk. Yes, not blue, but a beautiful ash-colored river. A popular folktale goes on to say that Pachuk was one of the many daughters that the river, a female, and the sea, her male counterpart, had together. Although she was the naughtiest one among them all, but she also was the most creative, smart, intelligent, and a caring one. Many were envious of her personality and would often complain about her to her parents. Annoyed and embarrassed by the recurrent complaints, Pachuk was strictly instructed by her parents not to mingle with anyone. But she didn't pay any heed to their advice. Consequently, her parents decided to disown her and even planned to divide the properties among all of the kids except Pachuk. Now, when Pachuk learnt of this, she was disheartened. To avenge her rights, Pachuk stole the entire property and escaped. Annoyed by Pachuk's act, her parents threw ash on her as a curse. Since then, it is believed that the color of Pachuk River turned ashy. The people here are still very deeply connected to their indigenous roots, which are exhibited in their lifestyle, clothing, food habits, traditional hunting practices, etc. The men are usually seen wearing a locally weaved basket on their back, which is made out of the Tassa plant. The Nishis call it Sabinara, while the Mijis call it the Sezang. Made out of the fibers of Tassa plant, it is quite firm and does not decay easily. Further, it is also believed that since there is a risk to their lives when they are out in the jungle, the Sabinara serves as a shield and saves them from any animal attacks. It also provides good protection from rain and is used for trapping or hunting animals and birds. As the time for celebration arrives, old or young, men or women, each and every one is seen wearing beautiful ornaments and intricately designed traditional hand-woven clothes. Bright reds and yellows, warm ivories, and various colorful beads are worn by both men and women. Every design on their attire has its own meaning and mythological significance, which speaks about their rich culture. It is said that before the introduction of this administration, the people here made clothes from the fibers of a wild creeper sourced from the jungle. The fibers would then be combined to make yarns to weave fabrics out of it. Women would generally weave clothes for the entire family, and it was believed that the soul of the woman lay in the weaving tools. Therefore, these tools were and still are handled with great care and respect. The staple food of the people of the Pachuk Valley is tassa. It is the extract of the bark of tassa tree, and the process of extraction is not an easy one and involves various processes. They start by chopping the wood into small blocks. These blocks of tassa would then be hammered by a bamboo block until all of it is converted into a fibrous powdery mass. Water is poured onto this mass and the extract is collected after filtering, leaving out the roughage. The process continues until all the water is removed and all that is left is an orange-colored residue. It can be eaten in many ways: boiled, roasted, with or without vegetables. It tastes the best when paired with meat or fish. But the process of extraction wasn't always this tough. As per a popular folklore of the valley, the tassa plant was once believed to have had a very soft bark, unlike the present-day tassa tree's bark, which is quite hairy and hard. The soft bark, when cut, the tassa would directly come out in liquid form, which was easy to collect and make rangbang out of it. Now, the story goes that there lived a couple who led a very peaceful life. One fine day, it so happened that her husband, who had gone out for hunting, did not return for many days. Curious about the situation, she headed into the jungle only to find her husband enjoying all his huntings along with the newfound dish, the tassa. It tasted so good that he forgot about his family and kept on eating it alone and enjoying all along. Angered by the sight of her husband, the lady plucked out her hair and wrapped it over the tassa stem, which turned it into a hairy bark. Subsequently, later, even the liquid form of tassa also solidified, which compelled the husband to return home as he could not extract it easily. And since then, the extraction of tassa demands more persons and requires rigorous labor. But all the labor is worth doing because they get to relish the tasty tassa after all that hard work, which makes it even tastier. Each and every part of the tassa is used in multiple ways, even the byproduct that is generated during the process. The roughage is generally fed to the domesticated pigs or other animals. But there's another interesting way of consuming it, which is by fermenting the leftover roughages for a period of 3 to 4 months. This leads to the growth of maggots in it, which is then collected for consumption. These maggots are considered very precious by the villagers and an excellent source of protein, which is essential for a growing child. Tassa is not only their staple food, but is also believed to have healing properties, especially whenever there is an accident or excessive bleeding at the time of childbirth. A unique blend made with tassa and burnt feather of a bird is given to the mother or the injured for immediate relief. And as evident as it may be, tassa is an integral part of their lives. People of Pachuk also prefer to use the leaves and barks of this tree to make the roof of their house and their granaries. It lasts several years and has a longer shelf life than bamboo. Considering the very cold and wet climate of this place, it provides very good protection and doesn't let moisture into the food store easily, keeping the grains drier and significantly increasing their shelf life. Rich in biodiversity, this valley is the kingdom of some of the most marvelous creatures on this earth. It can also easily be called a bird watcher's paradise, for it hosts some of the most stunning birds like the hornbill, which is the state bird of Arunachal Pradesh, and also the Himalayan monal and many more. The indigenous beliefs prohibit hunting or killing of the hornbill during the time of breeding season, as they believe that hornbill is owned and domesticated by the forest deity called the Abangsal, and that the killing of hornbill without seeking permission from the deity might invite serious consequences to the hunter and his family. It was only after a shaman invoked the deity's blessings that he'd give the consent to the hunter. It was usually hunted for its beak, which was proudly worn by the men on their headgears. Hornbill's beak indicated the sign of loyalty and forbade the disloyal people from wearing one. But nowadays it has been banned and it is artificially produced. Further, seeing hornbills flock together in beautiful colors inspired the idea of dressing up in groups during celebration. The valley is home to one of the most poisonous snakes called the pit viper. The Nyishis call it Bartha in their local dialect. The folks of Pachuk Valley consider this snake as their deadliest enemy. Tiger leech is also found in abundance along the Pachuk River. Besides the valley being filled with exotic animals, the river is also known to be the breeding hub of golden mahshir, a freshwater species which is also the state fish of Arunachal Pradesh. The local fisherman points out that the golden mahshir is abundantly available, particularly at the confluence of Pachuk River and Kameng River. There are varieties of other fish species available too. People of East Kameng specially relish the fishes from this area because it is said to have more fat content and is considered superior in taste and flavor than the fishes caught from other rivers in the district. The exact reason is still unknown and could be an area of future research. Due to the presence of different types of vegetation, this valley is known to be the ultimate zone for many of the rare animal species. Some unique animals like the musk deer, locally popularized as kungtam or senula, and takin, a large goat-like animal, also call this mountainous range their home. But sadly, it has been learned that even these beauties are not safe from the clutch of poachers. The male musk deers are specially poached for its musk called kasturi in Hindi, which is used in perfume industries and pays a great price, while the takin is hunted every year for its skin and meat purposes. This worrying situation calls for emergency intervention, which, if left as is, might prove to be extremely threatening to the existence of these beautiful creatures. There are many hidden treasures of this valley. Absolute ones are the 3 extremely beautiful and serene lakes hidden deep within. Lakes, namely Saigo, Maru, and Khakin, are situated towards the upper side of Wado, a tributary of Pachuk. One wouldn't easily believe that there's also a salty stream known as Sati. Large flocks of wild pigeon gather especially during summer season and during their breeding period. The view from these lakes is a breathtaking sight as it provides a clear view of the gigantic Mount Kangto, but the route to these lakes is not an easy one. The Trail of the Three Lakes has a great potential to be developed as a tourist attraction attracting many trek lovers from within and out of the state. But as of now, an all-weather road is the first necessity to connect this virgin valley, a place that is filled with rich culture and heritage, with the rest of the world, which holds an enormous potential of becoming a hot tourist destination of East Kameng district. So, it can be said that it is high time we explore the unexplored.